We wanted to have the perfect day to give you a June garden tour.
It's just not happening. Not happening. This is the most sun we've had all day.
Yeah, and in a while. But that's okay because we get to show you what the garden truly looks like.
It's gonna be a mess and it's gonna be wet.
June garden tour coming up. We're walking towards the overflow garden. We figured that's where we would start first because we just don't know what to expect.
We're expecting wet feet.
We're wearing boots.
My boots have holes.
We need new boots. We both do, actually. I think my boots are more than a year old, but I love them. But let me turn off the electric, like the current off of our, it is off? Why is it off?
Because we've had no sun to charge the Energizer, so why leave it on?
Besides the tomatoes, one of the first things that we're noticing is that we're starting to get some flowers in our watermelon plants. We have not seen as many bees back here, so we're trying to be more diligent about pollinating them. So there's a couple there. I don't know if there's there's a male flower. And so last year we had only planted 2 varieties of watermelon, and this year we planted a 3rd variety, and I think this might be the 3rd variety. So we have a Moon and Stars, which you can see the leaves have that really, really cool pattern that looks almost like a constellation. And then we have like the regular Crimson Sweet, and I don't know what the 3rd variety is. I'll look it up and try to put it on the screen. That's the first one that we pollinate, so maybe soon we will have watermelons and the chickens will love it.
We tried to plant some zucchini. We got like three main plants going on, and we've already harvested some from, and we have this whole section here in front of Juana is sugar pumpkins. So it's those small type of pumpkins you can make pies out of, which I cannot wait for because I love pumpkin pie. So it is taken over. The leaves, you can actually eat the leaves of pumpkin if you saute them, and zucchini, so that's another food source if you want. Awesome vitamins. So we got a lot of pumpkins growing. The main success, I think, is our tomatoes that we planted. So we have like over 20 plants that we put in here in the ground. We planted them the same way that we planted in our raised beds in the trenches. Put the microlife fertilizer in the trench with them and then buried them deep. But I think the added compost and goat manure and such is really making them grow really well. And we don't trellis them either, because I grew up on my grandparents' farm not trellising, so we'd have to pick everything mainly in the crown of the plant. So we've been looking every day, because it's been raining, to make sure that the tomatoes aren't splitting. So when there's a lot of moisture, a lot of wetness that comes on rapidly, tomatoes are prone to split. So this tomato has started its blushing, so normally we'll pick when it's has a little bit more color, but then we have to watch out for, again, with all the rain that we've had, this splitting. So this splits and we don't see it, then it rots, and then it introduces more pests, spreads through the plant, and we don't like that because we have some massive, like ones that are bigger than my hand. So these are mostly our heirloom beefsteak tomatoes, and there's some gigantic ones in here that are like bigger than my hand. So we got to check on these to make sure they're not splitting, you know, when they're green, because if we do, then they're going to get rotten, and then we're going to have to fry up a lot of green tomatoes or pickle them. So waiting for more to change colors. So hopefully the next week or so. You can leave the tomatoes on until they're fully ripe and fully red. Since we have pest issues and, you know, the rabbits and a lot of the excess rain, we'll pick them when they're blushing, and then finish off ripening in the window or on the counter, and they'll still have great taste, but nothing like a vine ripened, bush ripened tomato. So we got a lot of sauces to make, salsas. What else can we make with tomatoes? Stewed tomatoes, stuffed tomatoes. With those big boys, my grandma would make stuffed tomatoes, scoop everything out like a stuffed pepper, stuff them in. Awesome.
A little view of all of the other tomatoes that we have, because we have several different varieties. These are more cherry tomatoes.
Believe it or not, this is our only Roma tomato, so like the paste tomato, Italian tomato. that we have, it looks like more than one plant because they were super leggy when we planted them. So when you plant them in the ground like this and don't stake them, when they fall over and they touch the ground again, they'll reroot with those little hairs, so then it can spread, and then you get like one plant turns into 3, and so you get all these fruits that are sort of in the center of those plants. So one Roma tomato plant.
So we're on our way to the berry patch garden, but just a little view of what our goats are going through right now. It's awful. They are not happy, and they do not like having their little hoofs touching any kind of wet. So
Sloppiness.
we're hoping it'll clear up by tomorrow a little bit so that we can do a little bit better job cleaning up. This is again another reason why we really need a goat barn. Here's a berry patch garden, which we also treat as an overflow garden when it comes to tomatoes. And we've been picking a lot of tomatoes here regularly at the breaker stage, so the stage where they're turning blush. We do have a lot of weeding to do. That'll be fun, especially since we know so much is going to grow. I just wanted to show you a little bit of the state of the plants and just how much different they are from the ones on the other side. I think one of the primary reasons why these are turning is because they get quite a bit more sun than the others. You might be tempted to say, well, why don't you plant the others in sun so that they turn quicker? And there's a big reason why. These tomato plants probably won't make it through the summer. It'll get so hot that they'll just not be able to stand it. And at 85 degrees or so, tomato pollen just stops being viable. So that means you really don't get that much fruit. So on the other side, like the overflow garden area, because it'll be a little bit cooler with having shade, it means that those plants will last a little bit longer. And here's another, group of tomatoes where you see how they just split, and that's happened in the past, I would say, day. But here's some of the pests that we're dealing
Stink
with.
bugs.
You can just see how it's a tricky proposition. So I don't know, Nick, do you want me to pick these?
If they're splitting, yeah.
Okay. And so here's another one that is not quite at the stage that we like it, but it is what it is, and we'll pick these, and hopefully we'll be frying green tomatoes. Let us know if you have any cool green tomato recipe that we should try that is beyond just frying them.
Got a green tomato relish.
Ooh, that sounds good. Yeah, that does sound good. And in this area, again, we planted some watermelon, so we're hoping it'll take over, and then at some point I will weed in here, and it'll look a little bit better for 2 days, and then all the weeds will come back. The other part here is we didn't have any success with blueberries, and I should probably reword that. Our blueberries did amazing this year, but so did the birds. They made out with a lot of the blueberries, so we probably tried a handful of maybe, 4 ounces is all that we've had. We probably could have put netting on them, but we didn't.
No, and just hoping, and again, this area is on a decline, an incline, so a lot of when it does rain, a lot of the nutrients go out and get flushed down, so we do have to put some acidifier and stuff for the blueberries, because they like that. But again, they're open in the sun, but again, we've had a lot of rain, so I don't know, we see new growth on them, so I know it takes a couple years for it to really come out and really do well. Really have to look into how to prune them better, properly, to get optimal growth. So, and hopefully the birds, you got all those blackberries over there, birds. Eat those. Come on. Exactly, Sean and Gus. Exactly. They want some blueberries though.
They do. All of the birds like the blueberries, but let's keep going because it's getting dark and I feel some drops already.
It's gonna rain again.
Chloe Claire is looking for some garden love. I don't even know what you like from the garden, Chloe. What do you like? I don't even know what that means, but you know what? maybe you can catch the bunny that's trying to eat all of our stuff. How's that? So we went past the main garden so that I could show you what our other roselle plants look like, because they kept getting dug up by the chickens, and so I had put a bird cage or one of those wire cages, and that seemed to help quite a bit. We have a lot of new growth coming in, which is great. That gets me really excited, and it looks like we're going to have 4 clumps. So hopefully they will make it through. And our lavender plants seem to be doing well. Now here's my downfall. I wish I was better about getting to this side and picking the chamomile. I have not been better. I have been a lot worse. Part of it is, if you see the mounds there, that's all fire ants. So that's one of the primary reasons why I dread coming over here. So we will see. We're going to have to figure out a better solution there, but the lavender plants are good. We still have more chamomiles that are coming in. And so, like I said, we all have our things that we're good at, and we all have our things that we're not so good at. And picking the chamomile, I have not been so good at.
We're in our main garden, our raised beds, and everything is growing wild. Garlic is almost ready to be harvested, but you can't do it when it's wet. It's dying off. But we did plant our sweet potatoes, and you can see how the plants are already taken off. So they're getting super big. They're gonna vine out all over. Some have already started, which is great because I want it to cover this whole bed, even go out onto the floor. So this is one bed that we planted in between the garlic, and then our other bed of sweet potatoes. It's good, and this is gonna be the first time we've done it in raised beds, so we want it to, again, take over, to really vine, sort of shade the soil. And another thing too is you can also eat the leaves of the sweet potatoes and boil them up. So again, if you don't have the tubers yet, pick off some of the young leaves, saute them. Awesome. We also seeded some of our winter squash, so we have some butternut squash in these beds, and they all germinated, so they're going to do well. And again, they're going to spread out. Again, we want it to sort of flow out of the beds onto the ground. If it gets to the cattle panel fence, that'll be awesome, but we do have to monitor because it is a squash. Again, look for pests early on, but looking good. Acorn squash is doing good in our other beds. We might have to hit these maybe with some liquid fertilizer after it rains, because with so much rain, again, you have so much rain, it's going to flush, especially in raised beds, it's going to flush everything down and out. So we got our container jalapenos. We got some growing. We're going to wait for them to get red and to crack. So we got a lot of hot peppers this year. A lot of hot peppers. More jalapenos. But in the bed in the back, where we have more hot peppers, we actually have, I mean, just this whole thing is full. Look, it's got shishitos. These are Sugar Rush peaches. And so they're all in there. And there's like 3 plants in here all the way back and just full. So they are spicy, even though Juana thought they were not. We have some habaneros and some Jamaican reds in here. One of the best plants so far that we're loving this season is this pickle bush. So it's cucumbers, but it's a pickle bush. It's a good container variety, but look at all those potential, I mean, so many flowers on there. Good size, like 4 to 5 inches. We've picked a lot of them, but with cucumbers, you always miss.
Oh yeah, we missed.
So you got a few. I mean, the younger, you can pick them. I think we'll wait for tomorrow, but we've had some that are really, really big that are like dill pickle size. So we'll look through some more.
I've just been so impressed with this plant because, again, it's supposed to be a bush variety. It's supposed to be 2 feet tall, and it's obviously a little bit more than 2 feet. It is flowing out of the bed, which is awesome because it keeps some of the other stuff cool. but I just love the fact that it's getting so much production. We did plant our cucumbers a little bit late this year, but we haven't missed a beat, and it's just been so nice because when you look at it, I mean, that's a lot of potential fruit in there. A lot of potential fruit, and it's just pretty exciting.
Look at these Scotch bonnets. That is great. They're all up in there. Super hot. Gonna wait till they're red. These are for Josh. I don't touch them. We got a frog over here somewhere. These are like the Jamaican Reds, like ghost pepper. So more spicy again. And then, man, look at them. We got one zinnia.
We do have some basil as well, but there's just, the peppers just took over. I think we are used to planting our stuff very close. We don't really adhere to a lot of the spacing requirements. So when you look around, we bunch our stuff pretty well. And a lot of it is we just want to make sure that weeds can't get in. It makes it easier when I don't have to weed. But also, like, if a plant dies, it's easier for another one to take over and you don't even really notice it. So we just didn't expect all of these to do as well as they're doing. And another zinnia are the breadseed poppies. They are drying up. We'll be able to collect some of the seeds soon. And so we planted a lot more zinnias in here, so they should be coming up. And then, of course, we have the asparagus and the lemon balm. Another bed of so many things here. We have tomatillos, which they're looking so good.
There's a lot.
Yeah. And we have slicing cucumbers here instead of the pickling cucumbers.
So they're coming on, the youngest ones. And the thing is with these, you always want to look down at the base of the plant first. So there's one that's coming, because if you can't find them and they go bad and they start to die, basically triggers the plant to die. So cucumber is going to be fun searching.
Yeah. We have a lot of basil in this plant, and that was just that reseeded itself, because to be honest, we didn't do well with our basil starts.
We have Thai. These are the Thai fish peppers, Thai peppers. And so the leaves are variegated, and then these are spicy, and they'll get variegated as well. We have one there, one on this side.
Our Egyptian walking onion is in there. A better example of the fish peppers.
And we have some milkweed that I planted. We had gotten some starts that we planted out in the field and around for the butterflies. So we got some milkweed growing alongside that. So we have something for all the pollinators when they come.
Yeah, and I love these because this is the called antelope.
I think it's antelope horn, green.
Yeah, green, yes.
Green milkweed. And these are all going to be...
Is that a seed pod?
Might be a seed pod, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So that'll have a seed pod, and it'll get really big and basically burst open and dries, and almost has like that. Basically, the seeds float away like dandelions. So that'll be a good way we'll harvest those when that dries and spread them all over.
I think we're coming to the end of our tour. Really, we just have a lot of the same, right? We have garlic that really needs to be picked up, really needs to be dried up. In order for us to pick it. This is another tomato variety. It's called...
Black Prince.
Yes. And then we have so much basil, all kinds of different basils, which we'll pick and freeze, chop it up and freeze. We have
more squash that we planted, and I think these are the honey... They look like... butternut squash, but I think they're like the honey nut, but they're like a yellow type butternut, which is pretty cool. Yellow patty saucer ones, which are really my favorite because when they're really, really tiny, they saute really well.
We have a couple of other squashes here and some more zinnias. So that pretty much wraps up what our garden is looking like in June in the rain in Texas.
This is the end of the garden tour because I think it's going to rain again. We have sun over there, menacing clouds over there. So we're going to go inside before we get drenched.
Thank you so much for watching.
And make sure you hit like and subscribe. And as always, you're awesome and you're loved.
Until next time.